continue this conversation now with someone who was inside the temple premises just minutes back, Amish Tripathi. Welcome. What was it like?
Oh, it was wonderful. So, and the first thing that strikes you is the massive infrastructure improvement. I actually shot a documentary here a few months back, which will be coming out on NDTV on 25th Jan, 7:30 p.m. I didn't think how it would be completed. Right, the Ram Janmabhoomi road was still being broadened. Now it was all completely done. The structures have been painted. Then what happened was at the gate itself, the wonderful flower arrangements for the welcome gates. It was so beautiful. The completely traditional way. Then the second thing that gets you is actually the beauty of the temple itself. It is in the traditional Nagara style of architecture. And again, we shot out there. Again, I didn't think how it would be completed in 3-4 months, but it was practically all done. The sculptures on the mandapa, it's so beautiful. And the work that I think the trust and of course Chief Minister Yogi's team has done on the infrastructure, it's fantastic. And at the temple.
And
but what gets you the most is actually the murti itself. Okay, I respect all gods. I respect all religions. I write books on all gods and goddesses. But at my core, and as I'm sure many of you know, I'm basically a Lord Shiva devotee.
Yeah.
The deepest recesses of my soul only get touched at a Lord Shiva temple. Or at a Hanumanji temple, who we all know is an ansh of Lord Shiva. Right? Where I start crying. This is the first time I started crying when I saw the murti. It is so beautiful. And even if you see it on TV, nothing matches the real murti.
And
the
Arun Yogi Raj?
Oh man,
What has he sculpted?
He has the blessings of Lord Shiva. There's no other explanation. It is at the same moment so powerful and yet so childish that he's a Ram Lalla. He's a child. So you feel protective and awestruck at the same time. How can someone do that in a murti? It is just, I was crying and my wife Shivani was next to me. We had the privilege of going up, a little close to the door. We were, doing sashtang and we got up and I was crying and she thought like, are you okay? Such a beautiful, powerful Jagrut Murti. And this is the first day.
Yes.
Can you imagine when over many years, so many millions of devotees like all of us, we go out there and we pour our spirituality, our devotion into that temple and into the feet of the Lord. Can you imagine the Jagruti that will emerge from there? This will change Ayodhya, it will change India, it will change the world. I think Modi ji said it perfectly. Ramji should not be seen as just a fire. He is energy. That was energy.
And just look at the energy in the skyline of Ayodhya. It's all lit up and we are seeing firecrackers and a lot of lighting.
And all of you, come here.
That's the message that's going. 24 hours. Ranveer, you had a question for Amish.
Amish, you spread the message about Ram's character. What is Ram for you?
I think,
particularly after having spent 24 hours in Ayodhya.
Yeah, and I think the heroes and the gods that we look up to says something about the culture of the land itself. I've lived in the West, I've lived in a few areas, and for 4.5 years I was in the UK. And you look at the outside of Jesus Christ, who is a humble, or most of the heroes that they put up are those who are conquerors, those who've done perhaps crimes on other countries. And here we look up to Lord Ram, who is the symbol of sacrifice, of grace, of maryada, of self-control. He is our eternal king, and that, of course, says something about Lord Ram. But it says something about our culture as well. What are the values that we look up to? It's one of the reasons I'm such a patriot. I love India so much. There are many things we can improve in India, no doubt. But the values that we cherish, the values that we look up to, the fact that we look up to a god like Lord Ram says something about us as well.
So you expected that such a beautiful temple can be constructed within a few months, I can say.
Very short period, yeah. And a temple like this, because this has been made, again, we've covered it in detail in the documentary, which will come on NDTV.
On 25th at 7:30 p.m.
At 7:30 p.m.
It's a
on all
special
NDTV channels. this is a temple constructed in the traditional way. So modern techniques have been used, modern engineering has been used, but that's only to strengthen the soil, for the infrastructure, etc. But the techniques itself are traditional. So it's stone, it's not concrete and
Yes.
and
No
and,
iron
and
used.
no iron pillars.
Yes.
So it'll last 1,000 years. The modern style construction doesn't last beyond 100, 120 years at the maximum, right? It has been made the traditional way. Those kind of constructions, they last, but they also take a lot of time to build. You know, man, if in the traditional way, a temple like this would have taken decades. They got this done in just 3-4 years. My compliments to the government here and to the trust. They've done
Larsen
an
and Toubro,
unbelievable
right?
job.
They
And
were
Larsen and Toubro. Sorry, I
Yes,
should not forget.
and-
This is an endorsement for Larsen and Toubro, if you can call it that.
and ma'am comes from Egypt. She was among those invited and was present there inside the premises. Remember, dignitaries from 51 countries were sent invitation letters, and you were among them.
Oh, yes. I was one of the blessed ones. I'm coming from Egypt. My name is Deepti Singh.
Yes, Deepti, tell us what was the ceremony like, and what is your big takeaway in terms of what are you carrying back to Egypt?
Oh, the ceremony was magnificent. It was mind-blowing beyond anybody could ever imagine. Not just, as Amish mentioned, not just physicality of it, the spirituality. If you see the people, the feel, the energy was so high, and I believe almost all of us were in tears. Not just before entering the temple itself, while the Murti Pran Pratishtha was happening. And we were shown on the screens.
And the Prime Minister said that this is the beginning of a new era.
Oh yes, he said this is Kal Chakra Parivartan, and we are all looking. And he said so. Ram is not just a temple; it's what he did it, what learning we are going to take, and how we take it further for the better India.
And you feel that being in Ayodhya today matters because it's almost like a second Diwali which is being celebrated. And perhaps from now onwards, 22nd will be another Diwali, 22nd of January.
That's going to be fantastic. Yes, it is beautiful. I'm living away from Bharat, but I come very often to Bharat. 22nd January will be next Diwali, that's for sure. But if you see people, look at the brightness in people, just the eyes, look at the eyes, look at the feel. I mean, I have goosebumps.
Sheer excitement that is there in the air. And it has reached...
And here as well.
And it doesn't seem to die down. It's not ending. It's only gathering and perhaps increasing with every hour. Amish, talking about the message coming from the Prime Minister's speech, he also appealed specially to the youth to have that special connect.
Absolutely.
And their role in nation building.
No, absolutely. And, to me, again, another lesson from Lord Ram, building a bit on your question. Here was a king, which is why perhaps he is the eternal king of India. Here was a king who put his land and his people above everything else, including his own family. Right? We had another model of kingship, which is called the King Dhritarashtra model, which is sometimes called the Putra Moh model, where deep affection for the child, where King Dhritarashtra essentially put his family and his child above his land and his people. Lord Ram was the exact opposite. And perhaps a lesson we can draw is it only the duty of the king to put his land and his people and his nation above everything else? Shouldn't all of us do the same? Shouldn't all of us also believe that actually the nation is above everything else? Desh Sarvopari. And if we do that, all 1.4 billion of us, we will build an India that Lord Ram would be proud of.
That Kal Chakra that he spoke about. And if you were to sum it up, what exactly will it be?
But I thought that was actually a very deep and philosophical point. And actually I started thinking deeper on it. There's an article that's forming in my mind, maybe quite long form, and I will maybe write that down in a few weeks, of what this moment can mean for civilization and for time. Look, India's fundamental way of thinking is radically different from how many other cultures think. We don't think in terms of binaries.
Right.
Black, white, you're with us or against us, you're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to hell. And we are among the last surviving cultures which thinks this way, where we see that there can be good in both, that you can have mutual respect. And if the entire world thinks this way, where the only choices in front of you are not either dominate or somehow survive, it can actually
Coexist.
work with mutual respect. That is our ancient and traditional way. I think the Prime Minister was probably referring to that. That's a very deep philosophical lesson, and India needs to speak of that message a lot more confidently to the rest of the world. It's a thing, I'd spoken at the Oxford Union recently in a debate, and I'd made this point out there that much of the rest of the world does think in binaries. We don't realize that because we are so impacted by how the West thinks. That you're either with us or against us. It cannot be that you can be with yourself, you can be with me also. You can have mutual respect. You can respect science, you can respect religion as well. You can be a strong man and you can love and respect your wife as well. There's no either or. You have the choice of doing both. That's an opportunity that India gives.
And I think that messaging again of what does it mean to be an Indian right now in other countries. We are seeing celebrations happen all over the world. What all has been planned in Egypt?
In Egypt, we have planned that everybody would be sitting together. I mean, this is the plan. Everybody was supposed to be sitting together, the entire community, and celebrate it as a Diwali. And watch the live show from Ram Janmabhoomi, whatever is coming, and celebrate together.
Celebrations together. That is again the message of togetherness, oneness. Amish, it's all encompassing.
I'm sorry, let me just explain. I have mulethi in my mouth. I'm suffering from cough. This is what is keeping me from coughing away. Sorry, go ahead with your
Please
question.
go ahead. Yeah, so you will leave Ayodhya tomorrow. You'll be going to another city. You'll be speaking about it. But what is it that you'll be carrying forward? The sheer presence of a person here. What does it feel to be here?
The Sanskrit root of the meaning of Ayodhya is the land that cannot be conquered.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this was the traditional meaning, and this was the capital of the Raghus. So could not be conquered. I think perhaps we can add, because Sanskrit has this lovely ability to be flexible, it can add a bit more meanings to it. Maybe this can also mean the land of no war, a land of peace. And I think that is emerging. I see that in the way people across Ayodhya, and I think across India, are celebrating this, of all religions, of all communities. Lord Ram is our eternal king. He is, of course, a Hindu god. I'm very proud as a Hindu. But he's an eternal king for all Indians. And I think that is a message that I'm taking away from here.
Amish, you are here in Ayodhya. When we talk about Ram is known for Ram Raj. So how you see the spirituality with development, infrastructural development? You are here in Ayodhya since last, I think, 24 hours or more than 24.
I think the best way to answer that is two Sanskrit shlokas. So one from Acharya Chanakya himself that Sukhasya Moolam Dharmaha, Dharmasya Moolam Arthaha. That at the heart of peace and happiness is dharma. But at the root of dharma is artha. If you don't have wealth or power, we had that same lovely philosophies for many centuries, but we were a land that was invaded repeatedly and we lost repeatedly. Sometimes because of internal disunity. And if we don't have wealth and power, then frankly, you can't speak of your culture. No one listens to your culture. So that's the first point. That infrastructure, economy, security, why it's so important. Acharya Chanakya was right. It is at the heart of everything. The second thing is a lovely Sanskrit shloka which for me defines Ram Rajya. Rama Rajya Vasi Tvam Prochra Yasvatesharam Nyayartham Yudhyasva Sarveshu. I'll translate, don't worry. Nyayartham Yudhyasva Sarveshu Samamchara Paripalay Durbalam Vidhi Dharmambaram Prochra Yasvatesharam Rama Rajya Vasi Tvam. That you live in the kingdom of Ram. Hold your head high. Treat all as equal. Protect the weak. Fight for justice. Know that dharma is above all. Hold your head high. You live in the kingdom of Ram. That to me represents Ram Rajya.